Don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave your judgment and advice in the comments. Today's stories are from the subreddit r/am I the a-hole. Check the description for the links and timestamps. Am I the a-hole for respecting my late wife's wishes about keeping her family out? My wife unfortunately passed away last year when our daughter was only 3 months old. It was very difficult to get through, but my little girl and I are keeping it together. My daughter is 16 months now, and there has been pressure from my wife's sister to let her side of the family see my daughter. The issue is my wife had absolutely no contact with her family since she was 18, so 16 years of not seeing them. Her home life was something she never wanted to talk about. It always made her upset, so I never pushed her to tell me. All I know is they were manipulative and abusive in some form. She left as soon as she was 18, changed her last name and never spoke to them again. 4 years ago, she got into contact with her older sister, and she's the only person my wife allowed into our lives. By that I mean we met through video chat but never actually in person. We still maintained contact after my wife passed, and we met a couple times before and during my wife's funeral. My sister-in-law called me a few weeks ago. She mentioned her parents would really like to meet their granddaughter and want to start over. They didn't attend my wife's funeral because they knew she wouldn't want them to be there. One thing my wife always made clear is that she did not want them near our daughter. Ever. Telling my sister-in-law this, well, she got very upset. She said it's been years and yes, her parents were awful people. Again, won't say exactly what they did, but losing their daughter has made them reflect on things. And they want to meet my daughter since my wife never gave them that chance. She is still trying to convince me, and so far, I've said no. Each time I just feel more and more bad for denying them, but it's what my wife wanted. Her parents found my Facebook, pretty sure sister-in-law might have told them, and I've gotten dozens of messages begging me to let my daughter know her mom's side of the family. And I should not keep her from knowing her grandparents for past mistakes. None of them will leave me alone, and sister-in-law has said a few times that I may be grieving losing a wife, but to have some empathy for them losing a child. Because right now I am being too heartless for denying them the chance to meet the only piece of my wife they have left. I am at my wit's end with this because I'm not sure if I am being an a-hole or not. I don't know the whole reason why my wife never wanted to see them again. Even if I did though, I'd still like to honor her wish. The way they are being, however, makes it hard not to wonder if I am. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. The fact that all of them are bombarding you with guilt trips and completely ignoring your boundaries shows you at least partially why your wife ran away from them and wanted nothing to do with them. Seems like sister-in-law is just as bad as her parents. Maybe it's time to block all of them. Not the a-hole. There's a reason why your wife didn't want her family in her life. If you let them in your daughter's life, realize that it'll be too late for regrets. Block them, keep them out, you have no obligations to them. Not the a-hole. You are respecting the will of your wife, my condolences by the way, by keeping these horrible people away from your daughter. I don't know what they did, but if it's come to this, it must be awful, so I'd say block them and make it impossible for them to reach out. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister I don't owe her? I, 27F, have a sister, 26F. Growing up we spent what I consider a lot of time together. My sister feels different. Admittedly, I did not enjoy spending time with her, so it might have felt like more time to me. I always felt like it was annoying how she would talk so damn much and ask so many questions. It annoyed me most at the movies, and especially when my friends were with us and we were trying to watch a movie while she went to talk and talk and talk. Our parents insisted we do something together at least once a week from the time we were 8 and 9, because before that I would go weeks doing nothing with her, and they didn't like how much I didn't spend time with her. This was on top of twice weekly family game nights or activities, as well as us sharing a bedroom. I know it always crushed my sister that I didn't want to spend more time with her, but I found her less annoying the less time I spent with her. It made it easier when we were forced to do something together. So sometimes our weekly time together was me being told to take her to hang with my friends. Other times it was being asked to play together or watch something just the two of us. This continued until I left home. And it got better for a while. Once it was on me to choose, I could set limits that worked better for me. But the constant talking and asking questions never really stopped, and it's not that we never talked about it, but she sees it as me picking on something that's her personality. My parents would tell her to work on when it's appropriate to talk and ask questions, but also told me regardless she's my sister, so I should learn to love that about her. Anyway, recently my sister fell on hard times after her fiancé cheated on her and then left her with 2 months late rent. He used to pay it since he knew the landlord personally. My sister ended up having to move out and asked to stay with me. I told her we didn't have the space for her, which was absolutely true. I live in a smaller 3-bedroom house with my husband and 2 kids. I don't have a spare bedroom, and our living room couch is not big enough to sleep on well. Not to mention I live 15 minutes from our parents, and she lived 7. So it made more sense to me for her to stay with him. She said I could make room and that I owe her. That I was never the sister she wanted or deserved, and at the very least I owed her being there now while she's going through the worst part of her life. I told her we could meet up for coffee, and she said no, that she knows I wouldn't hang out for very long before leaving. She again reiterated that I owe her, and I told her I did not owe her, that I am a busy mom of 2 and have other stuff to juggle, as well as the fact I do not have room for her in my house, and that she needs to accept when someone tells her no. She called me names. I told her to grow up. My parents are telling both of us we need to come together and work this out. Am I the a-hole? Now for some comments. I would let her sleep on the floor of living room and then let the kids wake her up early every day, but now you're not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. All the other stuff aside, you don't have the room. It isn't practical. End of discussion. Surely she can see that? Not the a-hole. She does need to grow up and accept your kids are more important than here. Stick to your guns. Offer to talk and meet, but keep her out of house. Am I the a-hole for not dressing modestly for my sister's boyfriend? So this probably seems stupid, but this is an issue that has caused a ton of arguments with my family recently. I, 21F, am planning on going home from college to visit my parents and meet my sister's, 19F, boyfriend, 23M. My sis was super excited that I was coming to meet him, but asked me if I would dress conservatively when I came home so that I wouldn't tempt her boyfriend. For reference, the clothing she specifically considers immodest are my crop t-shirts that I wear a lot. I was really surprised, as she has never had anything negative to say about what I wear. I told her honestly and respectfully that if this is something she is concerned about, then it sounds like an issue she needs to work out with her boyfriend. She went off on me, telling me that just because I choose to show off my body at school doesn't mean I should subject her boyfriend to it. And then my mom called me. She was equally upset by my response and asked me why I couldn't do this one thing for my sister. She told me my sister would feel awful if I showed up looked nice. I'm going to meet up with friends before this event, when my sister would just be getting off work, no makeup, etc. She determined that I was being incredibly disrespectful, as this was not how she raised me to dress or act, and she wants me to dress modestly from now whenever I come to visit, regardless of who is there. Honestly, at this point, I was speechless. I made an excuse about homework and got off the phone. For reference, I am an independent adult. I pay all of my own bills, my rent, my tuition, and buy my own clothes. Even file my own taxes. I don't consider what I wear to be immodest, and I feel like I'm being dishonest if I dress like a completely different person when I go home. The biggest issue that has upset me the very most, however, is that I am pretty confident at this point that my parents put my sister up to talking to me about this in the first place. Apparently this has bothered my mother for years now, and she just hasn't found the right way to bring it up. My sister has always compared herself to me, but I have worked really hard for years to make sure she knows that is a beautiful and smart woman. It makes me so upset that my parents would play on her insecurities like this, especially since they know how insecure she is. And this isn't the first time my parents have had issues like this. The other day, my sister was getting ready for a date with her boyfriend and put on a tight sweater over her dress. My parents did not let her wear it and asked her, "Do you want your boyfriend to stare at your chest all night?" Right? I guess sticking to my guns and refusing to give in when I could easily resolve this conflict by just wearing modest clothes would make me the a-hole. But honestly, I don't think I should be held responsible for a grown man's thoughts, actions. So, am I the a-hole in this situation? I know it really isn't a big deal compared to some of the issues on here, but this really bothered me. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. Sounds like your sister is insecure about herself, but that doesn't mean you should be dictated on how you dress. It's your body, your choice, and I still can't believe how many times I've had to say things like that in this year alone. If he was really her boyfriend, he'd love her no matter what she looks like. Not the a-hole. You should be able to dress however you want at your family's house. If it would make your sister feel better, you could change into a big t-shirt or something casual when you get home, but I think you are justified to wear whatever you want. At some point, they as a couple are going to be around other pretty girls in crop tops, so that's something your sis needs to work on, being comfortable in her own relationship. Not the a-hole. You're right, if she's afraid that her boyfriend will be tempted, this is a problem with him and or her. Either she's jealous, he has her wondering I has cheated, or both. Her insecurities aren't going to be fixed by you changing your outfit. Thanks for watching. Until next time.